Okay, cool.
Hello.
Thank you for doing this.
No problem. Thank you for having me, man. It's been a while since we spoke.
Yeah, it was. How long is it? A year ago or more since I was in Netherlands or Holland visiting you. I think.
Yeah, it's a while ago. A lot has happened.
Yeah, a lot. So that's my first question. How is the small legend doing, Luca?
He's good. He's 5 months old now. So, time flies. It's crazy, man.
How was it becoming a dad?
Um, a different experience. There's no words that can really describe. I think we're very lucky as to how it went. Jana's pregnancy went pretty well. The delivery of the baby went very fast. We got a call, or we had to call to the hospital that everything started, and within 12 hours or within 10 hours, he was already born. So that's a
Wow.
pretty fast delivery, and everything went smoothly. Jana's doing well. She's healing really well. She's back doing sports and everything. Luca's doing amazing. So very thankful as to how everything's going.
I think like my son is named Luca as well. So I think the Luca name in the coming years, I think your followers and my followers, they have to have a lookout because there might be a new goalkeeper named Luca coming, yeah?
There is already one. There's already one legendary goalkeeper, Zidane's son,
Yeah,
Luca.
true. And then two more coming, hopefully.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm wondering, so obviously you've become huge in social media and on YouTube and everything, but I'm very curious to why goalkeeping and how did you get into goalkeeping as a young kid?
It started a generation ago. My dad was a goalkeeper, and he played at a relatively high level, which is in the Netherlands is hoofdklasse level, which is semi-pro, really close to professional level. And he was a good goalkeeper always. And when I was growing up, I started playing football at a young age, but I was a striker because I enjoyed scoring goals, and I was really good at a young age as a striker. And when I was playing a game when we lived I think it was in Scotland, we lived there a while back. Our goalkeeper got injured in a game, and my dad kind of pushed me. He's like, "Yeah, Koen can play in goal because we didn't have another goalkeeper, so a field player had to go in goal." So my dad said to the coach, "Yeah, Koen can play in goal. He's fine." So they gave me some gloves, put me in the goal, and I did surprisingly well, and I enjoyed that really much. I made a couple of saves. The technique wasn't there, but I kept the ball out of the goal. I didn't concede a single goal. So, and I had a lot of fun doing that, and I had more fun doing that than I did as a striker. So from that moment on, I went into goalkeeper training, did a lot of training with my dad in the garden, and yeah, that's really how I became a goalkeeper.
Nice. So it's striker before and then going into goal. So and then how because then coming into the goal and then how did you practice with your dad? Because there's many, especially young goalkeepers, boys and girls, they really don't know how to practice being in goal. You were maybe fortunate that you had a dad that could learn you the basic skills maybe from a young age.
Yeah, so that was definitely one of the struggles because at the club I was currently playing at, we didn't have goalkeeper training. And I feel like a couple of years ago, or many years ago, when I was young and growing up, goalkeeper training wasn't as much a thing as it really is becoming now. So we just had team training, and then it was just, the goalkeeper just trains with the team, and maybe you do some shot stopping at the end of the training session, and that's kind of it. But my dad being a goalkeeper, that's basically where I learned most of my technique. Was with him in a garden. He bought me this little goal we set up in the garden, and we trained like every single day. And eventually, my dad was able to schedule me some private goalkeeper lessons away from the club, which were just private sessions with a former professional goalkeeper in Scotland. I believe his name was Colin. I was fortunate enough that my dad was able to pay for something like this because let's be honest, it's expensive to get private goalkeeper lessons or extracurricular lessons outside of training. And my dad was willing to drive me an hour there and an hour back just so I could have some form of goalkeeper training. And I learned so much there. So yeah, that's basically how it went.
Okay. Yeah, I think that being fortunate enough to have parents being able to afford, first of all, goalkeeper coaching from a young age. I think it matters. I think it matters a lot to get in those basic skills, from a early age. And of course, that's not every young boy or every young girl don't have the same opportunities, and that's where I find your content, and also what I try to provide is that they can go to some kind of place for information and inspiration as well on how they can train themselves, because we'll talk more about it later, but I think the position of goalkeeping will be the new striker's position, because I think it will be so demanding and so cool to be a goalkeeper going forward that
I hope so. That's the goal. I think that's one of the main reasons why you and I do what we do, is to showcase the goalkeeper position in all its glory.
yeah. And then tell me a bit about your your goalkeeping story until the day you start posting content. How is Koen Geven's journey as a goalkeeper in football, or until that time, and your aspirations as a goalkeeper?
Yeah. So as I said, we did live abroad quite a bit because my dad worked for an oil company, which meant he was an expat. So we lived in the US, in Houston, Texas, and then we lived in Aberdeen, Scotland for a while as well. So coming up at a young age, my main technical training and stuff like that, developing myself as a young goalkeeper, was outside of my home country. So in the US, I was still a striker, and then in Scotland, I had my first goalkeeper game, and then I started taking those private goalkeeper lessons, and eventually I got my first kind of opportunity. I played for a team called the Cooter Boys Club, which was, I believe, A-League level. I'm not really sure how the Scottish tiers work, but it was a relatively good level. We played well, and some of our boys got scouted for FC Aberdeen. So eventually I got home from school, and I got a letter in the mail, and it said, hey, we'd love to have you for trials at FC Aberdeen Football Club. There's about 250 boys that have been selected to come, and you're one of them. I was like, whoa, very cool. I was one of the few goalkeepers. I believe there was like 6 or 8 goalkeepers there. So that was an honor to be selected. So me and a couple of mates of mine from the football team, we went to the trials for FC Aberdeen. And I remember I was like, what was I, like 10, maybe 12 years old. And it was pouring down, man. It was horrible. We were in Scotland, right? So it was horrible weather throughout the entire year. But this was different. And we were playing on like a hockey pitch. It was like turf, but it was horrible turf. So, and I just my dad got me these new gloves. They were Ulsport gloves, and they were kind of like a new style, but they did not do well in the rain. So I was there with like zero grip. I remember that vividly. But I played pretty well throughout the trials. It was just basically a full day of training, games, small games, and I just had to go and goal and do my best. But I was a young goalkeeper, and after a while, we did the training, went well, went home, and didn't hear something for quite a while. And in the meantime, we heard that my dad got a new job opportunity. So I didn't hear anything back, and my dad heard that we were going to be moving back to the Netherlands. So that was that opportunity kind of gone. So that was a shame. So who knows what would have happened if I would have stayed in Aberdeen. But so then moved to the Netherlands, started playing at an amateur level here, just at the local club, because most professional or semi-professional players get picked up in the professional clubs from a young age. From that, like the age I was in Aberdeen, 10, 11, 12, that's kind of when you get picked up here for the local professional teams. So when I came back, I just started playing at a local club just for fun, and eventually I got the opportunity to play a bit higher level, kind of the same level my dad played, which was like semi-professional, and you would get paid a bit, not much, nothing you'd be able to live off of by any means possible, but it was a good level and it was fun. So it was, I'd say, 4 to 5 trainings a week and then a match, so it was pretty serious. Did pretty well there, had a couple of clubs, eventually went to Belgium, did another season there, did pretty well there. I went there because the pay was better, and that's kind of in the meantime I started creating some content, because I started to realize, I got to start making some more money. Football's not going to be I started to realize I'm not going to make it as a professional.
At what age did you like? Did that like occur to you that okay, I might not be a full blood like professional?
I think it's kind of around the time we moved back here to the Netherlands. Then I was playing at the amateur clubs here. I was a good goalkeeper, but I was like, okay, I'm at an amateur club. How am I going to get to the professional level from here? I'm getting a bit older. To get picked up now is relatively difficult. I had my school, and slowly I had to start making choices to go study something, to go to university and stuff like that. And when you start making those decisions to kind of choose a life path, football kind of takes second place slowly. So it just kind of crept in, and I was realizing it. I knew I was a good goalkeeper, but maybe just not good enough for the professional level, or maybe I didn't have the most amount of discipline at the time, or a varying amount of factors. But all right, I still enjoyed goalkeeping, so I kept playing. But eventually, I started studying at university, which was a different town where I lived in. So I moved to a new town, which was called Nijmegen, and in the whole time I lived there, I still played football in my hometown. So every weekend I would go back and forth to play football, but it was amateur level. And yeah, eventually finished my studies after 4 years, and moved back here to the Netherlands, to Roermond, which is my hometown. And then COVID kind of struck, which was really tough. But I was living back with my parents for a while, which was okay. And that's kind of when I started a full-time job, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be life for now. I got a marketing job. This is reality kind of struck. You finish your university. I was taking the normal path that everyone takes. You finish your school, you go to work your full-time job. That's it. And eventually, COVID struck, so I was working this full-time job, and we weren't allowed to go into the office anymore. And I was still hanging out with a couple of friends, shooting a football on the pitch often, especially now because everyone had more time. TikTok was an upcoming platform, so I don't remember exactly why, but for some reason I was just like, I'll make a video of me making a save, and I'll put it on TikTok just to see what happens. And that's really when the time that everyone was like, TikTok is kind of like a dancing app. Nah, I'm not going to download TikTok. I'm not going to download TikTok. I really don't remember why, but eventually I just put a video on there, and I don't know, it was a horrible video. Looking back now, it was just a save. It was a good save, but the angle was horrible. The lighting was horrible. Everything was bad, but it was a save nonetheless. So I posted that. It got 500 views or something, a couple of comments, and I was like, it's 500 people. That's a lot of people, And that's slowly kind of how the journey started. Yeah.
Nice, because that's where we get to, is that how was the start for the Dutch goalkeeper, and like what like it ignited the spark of creating content. I guess that's what you just said now, that you were working your normal day job, and then COVID struck, and is there something inside of you that's always been wanting to do something out of the, in social media now they call it like how to get away from the 9 to 5, or have you had something inside of you that it's not for you, that you wanted to do something else that's not like the normal traditional way of living?
Definitely. There was always something where I thought there's got to be something more than this. Even during my university studies, I was always thinking of something I could do, something extracurricular. And YouTube was definitely something I was like, I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a YouTuber. I just didn't know how, when, why, or what to do to start, or what type of content I should be making, or how, or whatever. It was just something that was always in the back of my mind. And this was kind of, I don't know, it just came out of nowhere, just because TikTok was the upcoming platform, and I posted the video, and that's kind of, that first video really, put something in my mind. I just saw, like, okay, 500 views. There's 500 people. Imagine 500 people in front of you. That's a lot of people. And they're just looking at you. They're looking at me making a save. For some reason, I don't know why, they enjoy it. Some people commented, some people liked it. And I was like, whoa, that's a lot of people. So I was like, okay, screw it. I'm working this full-time job. I'm going all in. I'm just going to go for it. So I started making more content, going to the pitch regularly with friends. Even if I couldn't go with friends, I'd just go alone, put a tripod down, do some stuff, what I think was cool, do some research, just post videos. And I was posting 5-6 times a day, I believe, at the start, just to find out what would work and what wouldn't. And this was purely not because I wanted to make money off it, because I knew TikTok, you can't make any money off that, especially here in the Netherlands. You're not going to make a single dime. I mean, I have 4 million followers now. I haven't made a single cent off TikTok.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
That's
crazy. That's a whole
that's
different subject.
yeah.
But that was purely because I enjoyed doing it, and yeah, so that's kind of what started it. And I really didn't enjoy my full-time job. I think that was one of the times in my life where I was the saddest I've ever been. That was horrible, man. I mean, the people I worked with, I didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy the work I was doing. My bosses were horrible. My pay was bad, and I was just, man, I was on the edge. I think genuinely I was depressed at that time, and yeah, that was horrible. I'm really lucky to have a beautiful and amazing girlfriend that really helped me through that, because it was a tough time for me. So yeah, going from there to being able to make that switch, that's kind of what also motivated me, because I was like, shit, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
This cannot be true. So that's kind of yeah, that kind of was a pillar of motivation for me.
So that's maybe also what pushed you into creating content, because your alternative was probably, in your opinion and in your feelings, so bad that okay, doing content, I just have to go for it, because I think there's probably many in your audience that's maybe is wanting to do content, but I think taking the leap, actually starting to create content and all the stuff that comes along with it, maybe other people's opinions, and if telling your family maybe that I'm going to be a YouTuber or like like a creator, I think you have to have something pushing you to do it, even if it's a strong desire, or something that's the alternative is way worse. So
Yeah, I think that's a lot of things that come with creating content. It's not just creating the content. It's what you said. It's what people think about you. It's what where you're gonna start, what you're gonna do, when are you gonna find the time to do it. But as I said, I don't remember exactly why I decided to start posting content, but it was just something I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed creating the content, and I enjoyed goalkeeping, and I wanted to showcase that to other people, because the goalkeeper position is, it's kind of a laid down position. It's been for a very long time. People have been playing it down. The goalkeeper is the lazy one, goalkeeper is the fat one. And that's one of the main drives for me, is to change that perspective of our position. But as far as starting out creating content, there was a lot of people, like many people. I didn't want to tell anyone I was creating content, because I was scared of what people would think of me, because I didn't know anyone. There was a couple of guys from my hometown that have become successful content creators, but starting out, you've got nothing to show for yourself. Imagine you post 5 TikTok videos, they all get 500 views, 200 views. People are going to be looking at you like, what are you doing, bro? And I could understand that. So I didn't tell anyone. I told my girlfriend, and that was it. No one else knew and of course the guys I went to the pitch with, they knew what I was doing, but that was it. So it was like 2 or 3 friends and my girlfriend knew what I was doing. That was it, because I didn't want anyone else to know, because I was kind of ashamed of it for some reason, which is really stupid, because, fuck what everyone thinks. I'm sorry for swearing, but just do what you want to do. And I didn't realize that at the time, and even my teammates didn't know what I was doing at the time. But eventually, I started to grow, started to make more content, got some followers, and I remember it was around this time 3 years ago when I started making content. It was December. It was getting close to the end of the year, and my goal was to have 10,000 followers on TikTok before the end of the year. 10,000. That's a crazy goal, but still, a goal nevertheless. I had one video blow up. It was like this motivation video, where you fail, you don't succeed, blah blah blah, and then eventually you succeed. Very motivation, some big saves, and then it was New Year's Eve. I checked my phone. It was like 8-9 p.m. I was like, what happened? Like overnight, I gained 25,000 followers.
Whoa.
Because that video just popped off. It had like 250, 300,000 views. So within a day, I was like, on New Year's Eve, I remember checking my phone. I was with my friends. I was like, what the fuck just happened? So, and after that, I just kept checking every half hour, and I kept gaining followers, 100 followers, 2, 3, 400 followers, and by New Year's Eve, I was, I believe, at 40,000 followers on TikTok. And that's really when I was like, oh shit, I can make something of this right now. So that was kind of the first glimpse of success that I had. And from that moment on, I was like, fuck what everyone thinks. Again, sorry for swearing. But I've got something to show now, right? So if people find my content, even if they don't like it, even it's friends of mine, people I know, people that know me, they're kind of like, oh, what is Kun doing? He's making content. I was like, yeah, I'm making content. I got 40,000 followers now, So it's a different perspective, but you got to start somewhere. So
Yeah. I think that starting and just ignoring everything, of course, is the key, but it's like easier said than done. I remember I had the same like feeling as you had starting out, because I've been a professional for many years. Um, and I remember with the first training when I brought my GoPro to training, and I said I was going to start making YouTube videos and creating content, in a dressing room, professional dressing room. The boys, and they are paid well to do what we do, and it was like you making content, like, because they only know me as the goalkeeper, not as much as the person, so they couldn't believe that I would be interested in creating content. So I had the same like path like you had. Like at first they were like almost shitting on you, and
exactly.
what's he doing, but then you start getting some numbers, and you maybe start getting a deal here or there, like for promoting and stuff. So then it starts turning from shitting on you to say, how do you do that? And how you got a deal like that? And they start asking questions about it.
Exactly. See, that's the thing. Starting out, I don't know if there were some people for you, but starting out for me, there was a few people. So it was my girlfriend and a couple of friends that, even though I didn't have any views or whatsoever, they supported what I was doing. They were like, okay, Kun, you want to do this? Eventually my parents as well, because I didn't tell them at the start either, but eventually they didn't understand because it's a whole different generation and stuff, but they were always there to support me. They were like, okay, whatever, you want to do this, just do it, and we'll support you whatever happens. But there were also people that were like, what the fuck, what are you doing? Like, it's kind of weird, but but I think that might be the same for you. At the start, they're like, oh, what are you doing? And now, when I run into people from back in the day that I knew from school, they're like, oh, whoa, you're doing really well, man. How did you do this? I was like, well, years of hard work, It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's interesting.
Yeah, and also what inspired me to do content, it's like what you said in the start, is that the position had been downplayed for such a long time. And it's always fun to mark the position, make fun of the goalkeeper all the time in every situation, in like in general in life and in football. It's, if you see, like, if the goalkeeper is on some kind of show, they always try to downplay the goalkeeper and make the goalkeeper the fool. And that's what's been annoying me for a very long time, being a pro for a long time, that always when there's a joke or something, it's always on the expense of the goalkeeper, and that the position is not as important as it is. So then I thought, I want to bring that message that, the position is so important, and it's the coolest thing in the world is to be a goalkeeper. And I want to shift the mind of young boys and girls from being, here in Norway at the moment, it's Erling Haaland who's the big guy, and everyone wants to be, the striker. But why can't the next guy be like that? Be the goalkeeper coming from Norway or coming from another country. So
I think we've definitely, as content has been coming up, and as there's more content creators within the goalkeeper niche, I think we've definitely made a good change. So I think as we've been creating content and other goalkeepers have been creating content over the time, we've definitely changed the perspective of the goalkeeper position already. So that was definitely one of my motivations to start creating content. One of the other ones was every time I would have a football match when I was young, just before a match, the day before a match, the night before, even a couple of hours before, I'd watch YouTube videos. You know, amazing goalkeeper saves, or Ter Stegen makes this save, or, you know, whatever, just to get me fired up for the game. It was like a save compilation and everything. That would really get me going for the game. And I was like, when I started making content, I was like, I want these young guys to watch my videos before they start the game. That's why I create the content. That's one of the reasons as well. So they'd have my videos out, I'd be making the save, or other goalkeepers, whatever, just to get them more fired up to make that save or to win that 1v1, you know, or to win the game. And I feel like that I've done that successfully as of now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that feeling is awesome.
Yeah, for sure you have it. It's just, I was just, when I was like doing a bit of research before the podcast, I was into some of your videos and just reading the comments, and you can see just the way you inspire all your viewers and all your followers of like being a goalkeeper, and just really thinking that the goalkeeper position is really cool to play. I think you've done a solid job of doing that. So props to you for doing that. And I see, you know, there's many, I've seen comments that there was one guy, he was like, his friends were like shitting on him because he wanted to be a goalkeeper, but then he had come over one of your videos, and then that flipped the switch, and then him just continuing doing the goalkeeping position. So I think the impact you have is huge.
That motivates me to keep on creating content. You know, I've had DMs of people from not being a goalkeeper to becoming a goalkeeper because of my content, or from goalkeepers that have stopped playing goalkeeper because they weren't performing well or they didn't enjoy the position, to retaking the position again because of watching my content, you know. And that's amazing. That's the goal. That's always been the main goal, to motivate and inspire. That's the main goal of the content, always has been.
Do you remember back when, you know, TikTok, Instagram, Snap, and YouTube, they are like 3 different platforms? And I found the hardest is managing, you know, making a break at YouTube. I think that's the hardest platform to thrive on. Can you remember one of your, when it's the first video that made you maybe go viral or hit really big numbers? Can you remember what kind of video it was?
I don't think it was one specific, well, I think it was several videos, you know. Definitely when shorts came onto YouTube, that's when I really slowly started to blow up. But at the same time, I was doing long form content as well. So the shorts definitely helped me grow my audience, but the long form videos helped me keep my audience. So I don't think there was one specific video. There were several, like some save compilations or some glove unpackaging. Those hit several million views. And I know there's 1 or 2 short videos, of which I gained, I think it was like 60 million views, and I gained 100,000 subscribers from just the one video, which is crazy. But that doesn't necessarily translate to long form views, right? Because
No.
long form has always been the game, and that's a whole different world. And many short form content creators don't really translate over to long form anymore because it's a huge step. You know, huge long form is a whole different game, whole different ball level than TikTok and shorts and everything. And a lot of creators are trying to go over there because there's generally more money, but it's a lot more work, and it's a whole different ball game, as I said. But I don't think there was one specific video. It was just, I said to myself, I'm going to do this. I'm going to post 1 short every single day for a year. So I did that. Then I was like, okay, long form content. I'm going to try 1 a week, maybe 1 every 2 weeks, because I just started, you know. I need to edit, I need to do thumbnails, I need to do everything. So I just set a certain goal for myself, and I think being relatively consistent, as well as shorts as in long form, and being innovative. As you know, there's not many goalkeeper content creators, which definitely helps as well. We're in a niche. But also just keeping it entertaining and fun with good fast editing. You know, the combination of everything that's kind of helped me grow on YouTube.
Yeah, you're saying that the long form content is a different beast. That's for sure, because but yeah, all the stuff and all the planning that goes into a long form video, it's crazy. You like because I'm planning on doing a few like talking head videos about just improving different stuff about your goalkeeping. And you know, you have to break it down, techniques, everything, you know, and just scripting the video, what you want to film, how should you film it, and you know, it's so much work. And you obviously have many of these videos where you come along with a pro or another pro goalkeeper, and then you film together one day. Tell me the planning behind those videos.
You know, it's a lot of work. Like people do not realize the amount of work that goes into a single YouTube video. It's funny. I was on the pitch. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I was filming a YouTube video, and there were a couple kids there watching me, photographs, autographs, everything. And after they were like, "When I get home, I'm gonna watch this YouTube video." I was like, "Well, that's not really how it works, you know. We just filmed it. We need to cut the footage. We need to edit everything. It's gonna take a couple of weeks, you know." And they didn't understand. But the process it's an interesting process. So it'll go from an idea, so whether that's shoot with a pro, which we do relatively often, or from training my cat Ollie to be a goalkeeper, which is something completely different.
But that video did well, huh?
It did really well, yeah. That was just an idea I had for a while, and I was like, I just want to do this. So that's something completely different. But for like a regular shoot on the football pitch with a pro, so we'd have to plan with a pro, get the pitch sorted, get the cameraman sorted, script the video idea. So we start with title, thumbnail. Okay, so we research the goalkeeper. What's his EAFC rating? Can we do something with that? What's his transfer value? Can we do something with that? Has he been in the media? So we find the correct title, thumbnail. I think with you yourself, the video we did was how good is a 64 rated goalkeeper or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we script out the video. What exactly are we going to do? Okay, we're going to go the FIFA card. We're going to do this exercise for this stat, this for this, blah, blah, blah. Script out the entire video and then go to the pitch, film everything, get back home. Cameraman sends everything over to me, put it in the program, and then the beast of editing begins.
I've seen you been editing some of your videos yourself.
Yeah, so editing is a struggle that's been something of mine from the start. So I started out doing everything myself because I'm obnoxious or stubborn.
Yeah,
and I feel like it's good to be able to learn everything yourself, because when you then work with other people, you can tell them how you want them to do certain things. So I started out doing everything myself. Eventually, I started working with some editors on a freelance basis, which worked really good. But every single editor I've worked with as of now, I've not been the priority. So I've been one of their clients, and they've had other clients, and eventually we've had to part ways because they've had other things they had to do, which I completely understand. Because I'm paying you on a freelance basis, you're not, working for me. So they have to do other clients. So that's how it's gone with several editors. So we work with them for a couple of videos, and then they have other things they have to do. We work with another editor for a few videos, and then they have other things we have to do. So that's been a struggle. And now I had 2 editors. Unfortunately, now I have 0. So, and that's where it comes back to being able to do things yourself, because, I'm not put in a dark place now. I can do everything myself. It's a lot of work, yes, but screw it. I'll do everything myself. I don't care.
but it's also hard, I feel, that because I've also been trying now to have some editors for my content. But I, at the same time, as much of a struggle editing can be, I think it's also a lot of fun. Editing videos. But I think also when you have them on a freelance basis, you feel they are not prioritizing your content, and then you want your videos and the amount of videos, to come out in a certain time period. And if they can't, provide that, then I've been just sitting around and just waiting.
It's annoying, but it's completely understandable from the editor's perspective, because, you're not paying them enough to work full time. So they have to do other things. They can't prioritize one person. Ideally, I'd love to work with several people in an office, in a small office, just on a chill basis. Ideally friends of mine, because I do work with one good friend of mine. He's my production manager. But I'll tell you a bit more about that in a second. That would be the ideal situation, just so you can pay them on a monthly basis and they can do all the editing for you, and that way you can just bang out so many videos and keep the quality consistent. But that's difficult, especially, find an editor that can work near you or remotely, that can work full time and isn't too expensive, because editors are expensive. There's not a lot of editors and they're crazy expensive. And that's also been one of the main reasons that was kind of driving me back to find another editor, because I was like, well, for that amount of money, I'll just do it myself. It'll take longer, but screw it.
Yeah. So is this one of the biggest, because I had a question here, what's the biggest challenge you face as a full-time content creator? Is the editing part one of them? Is there something else that's really hard as a creator?
Yeah, editing is definitely one of them. That's what takes up the most amount of time, definitely. So it's finding the time to edit. The editing itself is doable. It just takes so much time. I mean, for example, the video I made with Ollie, that my cat, for the people that didn't see that, I trained my cat to become a goalkeeper, which is a very cool video. It's just an idea I had, and it took a long time. This took about 4 or 5 months. So 4 or 5 months of footage, filming like every day or every other day. I would sit with my cat, throwing a couple balls at him, playing with him, giving him treats. So that was at least 20 hours of footage, which I had to cut down into 10 minutes. And then edit everything. So horrible, hours and hours and weeks of work went into this video. I'm rambling. I don't know what the question was again. The biggest struggle of
yeah, biggest challenges as a content creator. Yeah.
So for a video like that, the amount of time that goes into editing that is ridiculous, Yeah. But eventually, when you get it done, you get it finished, and you put it online, and it does well. It's one of the best feelings there is, and especially this video, because it was really close to my heart. He's my cat. He's my best friend. I spend a lot of time with him. Usually he's right there. He's not there now. But and this is also a video I couldn't outsource. I can't have someone else edit this video because it's hours of footage and they don't really know the story. So that's why I definitely had to decide to do it myself. And it was hundreds of small voiceovers as well. So you can't do that to an editor. But yeah, definitely editing, and also one of the main struggles is, I think, being innovative and coming up with original content. So especially currently in the YouTube space, it's difficult to come up with new things because there's so many content creators, there's so many content up there. Try to think of something original. It's difficult. So what we do a lot as well is we look at YouTube for inspiration, we look at other creators, and then we give our own twist to it. So the video I did with Ollie, it's original content, it's my idea, but it was definitely based off some other things. So you've had Chris MD, the English YouTuber, who did, I think 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago, he made a video with his cat of him making goalkeeper saves as well. It was a fake video, it was edited, but that was definitely one of my inspirations for this video. And then there was another YouTuber who trained his dog to run 5 miles or something. It was his dog was fat and he had to train it. So I got some inspiration here, some there, and then sprinkled my own kind of editing on it and created my own video. So it is an original concept, but there is inspiration from other concepts. So I believe that's definitely one of the struggles. What is it from your perspective? What do you feel the biggest struggle is as a content creator?
I think for me, I think it's time. Since I'm a pro, at the same time, I think it's finding time and the correct time to do it in between a lot of training and games. Besides time though, I think it's the editing part, because there's so much content that I have laying on my computer that I would like to have been just put out there. So I think it's the editing part, and also, as you say, also coming out with good solid content ideas, that have good substance. And because I want to inspire, I want to learn the stuff that I've learned during my career. I want to pass that on in a good way, and possibly also in a entertaining way, but also like in an educational way. So like fitting those two together and then finding content that, yeah, the packaging of it. And I have not found like the packaging of doing that, but
It's just trial and error.
yeah,
You know, you just got to try as
yeah,
much as possible, and eventually you'll find a way.
yeah, for sure. I will find a way, but I think also I will try to edit a bit on my own because I enjoy it. But the biggest struggle is, as I told, is the time, you know, because you have to find time for it to sit down and do it. And besides being a pro, you know, I have a family that I have to support, and you know, so and my son he plays hockey and football, so he's very busy. So I'm like, you know, I'm like a taxi going back and forth first to the football, then to the hockey. So
Yeah.
so finding time is hard.
I
So
can imagine. I think one of
yeah,
the other struggles, I don't know if you have this as well, is kind of the mindset or the mental challenges that come along with creating content. It's a pretty, how do you say that, lonely world. There's a lot of time that I'm just behind the computer till late at night, just alone doing the editing work, coming up with new content. Not only that, recently I did a new Dutch video, which was guess the professional football player, but in Dutch. Took a lot of time. I did the editing myself. Took at least a week of editing. Hours of footage, 3 different cameras. Everyone had a mic. Horrible editing. But I got it done, and I really enjoyed the video. I was like, okay, this is a great project. I'm happy with how it turned out. Uploaded it to YouTube. Did horrible. So
oh
facing that, putting in hours and hours of work, and then seeing the video getting barely any views, that's tough, man. So that's why I say like the mental part, the mental game of putting hours of work into a video. And I've had this on my main channel as well. Like, oh, this video is going to do great. It's such a good video, such a good video. Thumbnail's great, video's great, title's great. Boom, bang it up there. Does shit. That's just... that is horrible, man. That's one of the worst things. So every time I upload a video, and I shouldn't do this, I know, I keep checking the stats, and on YouTube you can see how well your video does. It's 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
yeah.
And within an hour you can see. So every time I upload a video, my girlfriend knows it's either going to be a good day or it's going to be a bad day, you know. So how's the video doing? Oh yes, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10. Woo, let's go.
Yeah.
Very happy.
Yeah.
How's it doing? Oh, it's 10 out of 10. Shit.
Oh, I can see that's being tough.
Yeah.
I can see that being tough.
But I've kind of gone past that. So I struggled with that more at the start. And I was like, okay, video's done. Put it up there. Forget it. Move on to the next one. Which is tough. It's very tough to do that. But you have to do it. Otherwise, you're gonna get lost in the sauce. You're gonna.
Wait, but it's crazy though that like there's no science to what will work and what will not work. You know, probably someone made a video like in a few hours, and then probably it blew up, and then you have you now, you know, putting a lot of effort into one video, like for sure this is going to make it and be good, and then me, and this is like it's a not a bad video, but it didn't resonate with the audience for some reason.
I do. At the start, I was really thinking like blaming YouTube. I was like, man, YouTube's not pushing my video. It's such a good video. People need to see this. And now I'm more realistic with it. I'm like, okay, the video's not doing well. It's a shit video. Done. I should have done better. And that mentality has definitely helped me into producing better content. So now, with the video for Ollie, which is the latest video I uploaded, I just had a feeling. I knew the concept was great. The video was fun. It was entertaining. I showed it to a couple of people before I uploaded it. Everyone loved it. I was like, this video is going to do well. I know it. It's a feeling I have. I've tested it with several people. And even if it doesn't do well, I enjoyed making the video. Fuck it. Move on to the next one. So it's a change in mentality that's come with developing myself in my career as a content creator. And it's difficult, man, but it's part of the job, you know. I mean, it's the same thing I can imagine as a professional player. You're going to think you're performing really well a game, but then still you might get shit on and get 3 or 4 goals past you. You have to forget it and move on. That's part of the game.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, like in Norway, we have a very long preseason.
Mm-hmm.
So you play practice games and you have training camps for like 12 weeks before the season starts. And then, there's a lot of hard work, many hours, maybe like 2 or 3 practices, couple of days in the week, and every day twice a day. And then you come to the first game of the season, and then you can drop a ball between your legs, and then it's this time it's kind of the same thing, like a 10 out of 10 video without, like, you have all that hard work, and then now I'm just going to really showcase my skills and just really make it really good, and then you drop the ball between your legs, and then that's that.
That's one of the crucial things of being a goalkeeper. Every mistake is fatal.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, mindset, very important.
I think it translates very well throughout, being a goalkeeper, being kind of that lone warrior in the goal, protecting your net, protecting your home. And as a content creator as well, there's a lot of time that goes into it that you're alone as well. I mean, I myself have found that. I know there's many content creators that have this big team that work together very well. Not me, really. I enjoy doing everything myself, which has been a choice and a forced choice in some way as well, because the editors didn't really work out. But
yeah,
I like it. I'm responsible for my own income. I'm responsible for my own success, which really does drive motivation.
Yeah, for sure. And I think also for many creators, like giving up that creative. How would I say it in English? Like giving the creative responsibility to someone else and not be the guy that does it yourself, I think can also be a bit difficult.
Definitely.
Because you know exactly how you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I struggled with that at the start as well when I had editors. I think for some editors I've been a bit of a pain in the ass with too many things I want to change and stuff like that, because I was relatively critical with the content I put out there. But still, it's your content, it's your name that goes out, it's your image, so it's important to make sure everything's top quality. I say that, but on the other hand, I feel like if you start out making content, I feel it's one of the most important things that you bang out as much content as you can, just so you can learn what works and what doesn't. So quality is important, but quantity is just as important.
Okay. That's interesting, because often like in my profession, like in terms of practice and stuff, like it's quality over quantity, but then in the social media universe, maybe quantity, and of course having quality, but just putting it out there and then seeing what does well and seeing what doesn't do well is just as important, maybe.
I think to a certain degree, quality is definitely more important than quantity. But especially when you're starting out, as I said, starting out on TikTok, I put up 6 videos a day just to know what works. And Mr. Beast said this as well. He says, make 100 YouTube videos. Make 100 videos. After you made 100, come back to me. I'm sure you'll do good. It's that easy. You learn from every single video that I make. Still, from every video that I make, I learn, okay, this could have been better. This could have been better. So the more videos you make, the more you learn. The more goalkeeper practice you do, the more you learn, the better you get. So it is quality practice, but still, how often do you practice as a professional? Once a day at least?
Yeah, twice a day maybe.
Twice a day, exactly. The more you do, the better you get. It's that simple. It's just like learning guitar. You want to learn guitar? You got to play guitar a fuckload. I'm sorry for swearing. You got to play a shit ton of guitar, and then you're going to learn guitar.
Yeah, for sure. So practice.
Exactly, yeah.
How is it playing in those like games? What do you call them? Like content creator games. You had one at I watched a video this morning of the one at Selhurst Park.
Oh yeah.
How is it to be in those games?
That's very fun. I currently don't play for a team anymore, so I definitely I miss that. I miss playing games, but it's been a choice I made just because there's a couple things. It's the time that goes into playing for a team again. It's a couple of practices a week and the game on the Sunday. And being on the pitch that much and also creating content the next day still is a lot of work. And at some point I was scared to get an injury. So imagine me playing a game, I get injured, well, there goes my content. The content creators games are so much fun because, as I said, I haven't played a game in a long while. So when I get to play a content creator game, it's a lot of fun. The level might not be amazing, but it's fun. Especially the game at Selhurst Park was amazing. Being able to play in that stadium was a dream to me, and also making the save that I made, that kind of finished off the whole video. If I didn't make that save, the video wouldn't have been as good. But that's definitely a core memory that's going to stick with me for the rest of my life.
Yeah, because that was my next question. Tell me about the feeling of pulling that save off at Sellers Park. It was a good feeling, huh?
Yeah, it was great. I don't know. It's the moment you dream of as a goalkeeper, right? I mean, you're a professional goalkeeper, so you've had that moment several times, I'm sure. But for me, this was kind of that moment because I've never played professionally, So I had the GoPro on. I was playing this game. I was like, okay, I have to perform. I have to perform. So I made a couple of good saves at the start, and eventually, when this shot came in, it was an outside of the boot shot from Wayne Routledge, a former professional player. And I saw a curve, and I was like, oh shit, I'm not sure if I can reach this, but I just went for it. I touched it, and I didn't know if it went in or not. So I looked back, and then it touched the post, and then I heard the sound of the post, and then I was like, oh shit, did it go in or not? I looked back. And it missed, and that was the best feeling, being able to pull off a save like that in a stadium like that, and knowing there's cameras everywhere, so it's on camera. You're like,
yeah,
this is it. So that was definitely my, my golden moment, as it is. When Luca gets older, that I'm gonna be showing him that on replay.
yeah. And also, it's good that it was like a former pro that
exactly. It wasn't just anyone who took the shot. Yeah.
No.
But it was a good shot. It was outside of the boot, so I had it wasn't with a lot of power. I had enough time to get there. I had to take a couple steps. I didn't get off the ground too well, but I was able to get a hand on it, and yeah.
Amazing. Like, are those occasions for content creators important in terms of connecting with other people? Is there a lot of that stuff going on when you come together for a game like that?
Definitely, especially in the UK. The UK football scene is huge, especially the UK content football scene is way larger than it is here in the Netherlands or anywhere else for that matter, because UK football, the Premier League is large, it's crazy. So being there, connecting with other content creators, with other football players, former professionals is an amazing opportunity for your network. Meeting people like Young Philly was there, Santan Dave, the rapper. Those are huge names, being able to talk with them for a couple of minutes, just to pick their brain, ask a couple questions, talk to the professional footballers as well, which is always great to make the connection. So maybe sometime in the future there will be an opportunity to film with them, or, next time they see you, they know you. That's always good. What did you think of my performance in the game?
I think it's good.
Okay.
Yeah, honestly, and the save was amazing.
Yeah. All right. Good.
So, and I don't know if you edited your video yourself, but having the save as a cliffhanger is
no, that one I didn't edit myself, but props to the editor. He did that really well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great video. And then also there's a question I have. In the start of that video, you go outside or in some place in London and talking to the camera. How do you find doing content in public? Is it easy for you? Is it stressful? Is it a bit awkward? Can you be relaxed? How is it?
Starting out, I struggled with it a bit, but now I don't struggle with it anymore at all. But that's just because I'm relatively successful in the space, so people know me. They know what I do. It's part of my job. So I just at a certain point in my career, I think it was after the 40,000 followers on New Year's Eve. I think after the clock struck 12 or something like that, to give it that moment, that's kind of when something switched in my brain, and I was like, fuck it, fuck what everyone thinks. I don't even care if I'm walking there with a camera or what other people think. I'm just gonna do me. And walking, as you said, the starting shot was outside of the stadium, walking in. There were definitely people looking, but I don't care. It's my job, so let them look. I don't. It's just just part of what I do.
I love that because for me as well, I'm at home in Stavanger. You know, I play my football in Sarpsborg, which is on the other side of the country. And I plans of doing content here in Stavanger, but I've never done content in my home city. You know, my mates are here. You know, there's loads of people knowing me in the city, but they have never seen me doing content. So there's a new challenge for me as well, like doing content here in public.
Wait, give me 1 second. I think. Come here, Oli. Superstars come along. Come here.
Oh, the legend is coming.
Come here.
The superstar. Hey, Ollie. Where's the gloves? Where's the gloves?
One of the most famous goalkeepers on YouTube.
Aye, Ollie. I'm starstruck now. Actually. I'm starstruck.
We'll send you over an autograph.
Amazing. Yeah, doing content in my home city I have to just flip that switch and get used to it because I've not done it. So today I'm going to post on Instagram that if there's any goalkeeper coach or goalkeeper that's 18 years plus, if they want to do content, you know, because I need help, you know, with serving and, you know, shots and stuff. So
He always does this.
in front of the.
I can't hear you anymore. Is that because of me?
You hear me now?
Oh yeah, I hear you now. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I can imagine it's something different. You know, when you're in your hometown, there's people you probably haven't seen in a long time, and you've been doing something completely different. So it's going to be intimidating. But
yeah,
I don't know. They've probably just think of this. They've probably seen what you're doing. So fuck it, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I have a few questions from some of my followers.
Okay.
And the first one is, of course, do you like Norway? Have you been to Norway before?
I've never been to Norway. I want to. I remember we agreed when you were here that I would come over to you sometime soon. So I'm looking forward to. We still have to plan that. I'd love to.
Yeah, amazing.
I want to come when it's good weather though, because I don't do well in the cold.
Then you have to do June, July, August.
Okay, in the summertime.
That's the best chance of getting nice weather.
The best chance of getting nice weather.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Sarpsborg, where I play football and where I normally live, is known for having a lot of sun. It's called like Sun City of Norway. They have the most days with sun, so the chance is pretty good during summer. That is good.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. I love Norway. All the Norwegian people I've ever met have been amazing as well. So, yeah.
The best goalkeeper you have done content with?
Ooh, that's a good question. Yeah, I think there's a couple. So I don't think there's one that really sticks out. So these two guys are amazing, Vincent Angelini. Or Daniel Bachmann and Vincent Angelini. At Watford, we did a session. They were really fun to train with as well. Vincent is a bit of a younger guy, so he's so much fun. Such a great goalkeeper as well. And Bachmann had some more experience. He wasn't allowed to do as much as the starting goalkeeper during the session, but you could definitely tell the quality. Also, this dude, Nick Marsman, legendary goalkeeper as well. Really good, top quality. And then there's Maarten Paas, who plays for FC Dallas currently. Mm-hmm. That man is different level. The saves he's pulled off in the MLS this season is crazy. I mean, I could send you some of the stuff because I follow him on Instagram. The stuff he's done for Dallas is crazy. He's pulled off some saves that I feel like they're not human to be able to pull them off. So he's definitely up there. Yeah, I think they might be the best.
Yeah. Yeah, good names there, and Marsman having David Beckham as the owner as well.
Yeah, so he's moved to San Antonio now.
Has he?
Yeah, he's gone. Well, of course, Miami put all the budget into Messi, so they had to make some budget cuts.
I have to move on. Yeah. Okay, yeah, some good names there.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on how much height and your weight matters as a goalkeeper?
So this is a good question. I myself am relatively tall. I'm 1 meter 88. So that's relatively tall for a goalkeeper, but I'm very heavy. I'm around 100 kilograms, which is heavy for a goalkeeper. Which they generally say you shouldn't be that heavy. I feel like height can definitely be a crucial factor as a goalkeeper. It can really help you, but I don't think it's a determining factor. Is that a good word? Determining.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to necessarily be very tall. I mean, look at Jorge Campos. I don't know if you know him.
Yes.
What was he, like 1 meter 70 or even shorter? That man was insane. And then who else is a short goalkeeper? Casillas wasn't too tall, was he? Keylor Navas isn't the tallest goalkeeper. I feel like
Jan Sommer.
exactly. You don't need to be Ollie.
It's a good. He can rest that.
Yeah.
It's good.
So I feel like you don't need to be super tall to be a goalkeeper. Just do what works for you. As I myself am a heavier goalkeeper, I adjusted my playstyle to that. So I would be very dominant in the box. People, they wouldn't fuck with me around the box because I'm very heavy. You jump into me, you're going to fall to the ground, So coming up for a high ball, I would win almost all of them just because I've got a lot of weight. So as I said, you jump into me, you're going to fall. So I don't feel like your height and weight should be a determining factor as long as you're fit. So if you weigh 100 kilograms, doesn't matter as long as you're fit. If you weigh 70 kilograms and you're 1 meter 60, doesn't matter as long as you're fit. And a lot of young goalkeepers feel like they should be taller than they are. Guys, give it some time. You're 14, 15, 16-year-old. You're going to get taller. You're going to become more of a man. So best advice is get in the gym, do your training, and focus on your technique, and I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, I think that's great advice because there's so many younger goalkeepers that are so worried about not being tall enough.
Mm-hmm.
So they, instead of using a lot of energy and focus on what I can do to improve my goalkeeping, they're almost more concerned and using a lot of mental energy on will I be tall enough? And, it's just focus on enjoying the position, hone your skills in the gym and on the pitch. And then we'll see when you're 20 where you're at, because
Exactly.
I don't feel that the height should discourage you of pursuing something that you love.
100%.
So,
yeah.
So what do you think is the most satisfying thing about being a goalkeeper?
There's several. Unpacking new gloves. That is one of the most satisfying feelings, definitely. And then, making that save. That's, the save in the Selhurst Park Stadium. That's that feeling after that. That's the most satisfying feeling. Or the making like a 1v1 save where the player really thinks he's going to score and all of the other team thinks it's going to definitely 100% goal and you still get it. That, along with saving a penalty, are, I feel, the best feelings.
Amazing. And then what's the worst thing about being a goalkeeper?
There's no bad things about being
No.
No, of course there's
No.
the responsibility. So the mental game of you make a mistake, that's it, you're done. That's horrible.
Yeah.
That's really tough as a goalkeeper, so I feel like the mental game of being a goalkeeper is one of the toughest.
Yeah. And can you tell us about your plyometrics routine, if you have any?
I don't really have any. I mainly do strength training in the gym. So I should do plyometrics, I know, but I do heavy gym work. So if I, for example, train my legs, I would do heavy squats, heavy leg press, leg extensions, and all of that stuff. And I do a lot of incline walking, 20 to 30 minutes full incline on the treadmill, and then as fast as I can walk. And I feel like that's definitely good for my plyometrics or whatever. I've never really been someone to do a lot of plyometrics or stretching. I despise it so much. I hate it. It's horrible. I know I should be doing it, and I really shouldn't be saying this to you guys that I don't do it, but I'm not going to lie, So what I do and what has worked for me is just strength training, making sure I'm strong and fit, and incline walking, and just goalkeeper training.
All right. And we touched on it a little bit, but how do you deal with the pressure of being a goalkeeper?
Um, yeah, I feel like you have to have a certain mentality as to when you do make a mistake, you need to be able to move on from that mistake as soon as possible. If you keep dwelling on the mistake you made or the goal that went in or the pass you missed or the touch you messed up, that's going to affect the rest of your game. So if you're able to move on from the mistake you made as soon as possible, that's going to ensure that you perform to the best of your abilities in the remainder of the match. So how do you cope with it? I just have this sort of mentality where you're just kind of like, fuck it. Fuck everything, you know? If it goes well,
Yeah.
it goes well, and try to perform to the best of your abilities, but you have to be able to cope with those mistakes.
Yeah. And have you, since you started making content, have you considered tryouts for a professional team?
I'd love to. I'm always open to that, but I'm kind of I've trained with a lot of professional goalkeepers. I'm kind of in a space now currently where I'm at, where I know I'm a good goalkeeper. I'm a decent goalkeeper, but I'm not a professional. There might be a club somewhere, Poland third division that might want me, but really playing in the Premier League. I'm 27 years old. I'm realistic at that. I enjoy what I do. I love what I do, and I get to train with professional goalkeepers, and I get to do awesome stuff, and I'm happy with that. If there's a club that wants to give me a trial, I'd love to make a YouTube video out of that, but
Yeah.
I'm realistic in that that's not really going to happen anymore.
All right.
I am
And
considering starting to play again next year, though, in a new team somewhere around here.
oh, okay, nice. So I have a question. What do you think about? We touched on it a little bit earlier, but the demands of the next generation of goalkeepers. What's your thoughts around that? Because my audience, your audience, they are aspiring probably to play in the Premier League or La Liga or Bundesliga. And what do you think they need, like in 7 to 8 years time? The new generation of goalkeepers coming up.
That's a good question. I think the main thing, if I were to train a goalkeeper, I would focus on the basics. His touch, his left and his right foot, and his diving technique is the main things I would be working on. Also being dominant in the box. So I feel like I didn't get to train this as much as possible when I was younger. I should have trained my weak foot better. I should have trained the basics better, I've got it under control now. My pass is good, my touch is good, my left and right foot is good. But if I were to train a young goalkeeper now, those are definitely the things I would focus on. So a good touch, both left and right foot, being able to play, being able to dribble, do some skill moves and stuff like that, and being very dominant and communicative in the box. And playing with the team as well. And that's why it comes back to the basics. That's what I always say if goalkeepers ask me for tips. What are the best things I can do? I always say the same thing. Focus on the basics. Make sure your touch is good, left and right, and make sure your technique is good. If you do that from a young age, I'm sure you'll be great.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think the position will be so demanding that you have to be able to play out with your feet just as good as an outfield player.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be athletic, like very, very athletic. You have to be able to claim crosses. You have to communicate well. You have to be a leader. So there's many like technical skills, but also in terms of character, being a leader and being dominant in your communication. And basically you'll have, if you want to play for one of the top clubs, you can't be like I don't think you can just have one or two traits as a goalkeeper. You can't just be the shot stopper. You can't just be the guy that's really good claiming crosses. You can't just be the guy that's really good with his feet. I think you have to have the whole package to be one of the best in like 7 or 8 years time, because I think football will develop so fast, and it's always been developing fast, but now I think it will just take off, because you see like Guardiola, the way he uses his goalkeeper, it's almost now that Ederson plays like as a central defender in the build-up. He plays so high, plays with such high risk. So yeah, the position will be very, very demanding. And I think if you want to start something that's really challenging and really, really cool, I think starting out and being a goalkeeper is the number one thing to do in the game at the moment.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Which league do you think have the best goalkeepers?
Ooh. I think the best league in the world is definitely still the Premier League, the level there. And I think that goes along with the goalkeepers there as well. I think that, and then after that, maybe the Bundesliga. Because, the Germans, they're different. So I think definitely, so the Premier League has the best goalkeepers in the world currently. And then along with that, the Bundesliga, just because the German clubs really have a high level of education in their youth teams and training.
I think I agree completely because I do think like the tops still are in the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite league is the Bundesliga. And that's almost solely based on the level of goalkeeping that's been done in the league, because I think it's very easy to just say Premier League, but the Bundesliga, the level, like the general level of goalkeeping in Bundesliga it's insane.
Exactly. Neuer coming
It's
back now as
insane.
well. Love to see it.
Yeah. So I think still that maybe the top still is maybe Premier League, but I think Bundesliga is so up there.
I'm really looking
with
forward to see who the next Neuer is going to be. I feel like
Yeah.
we're still missing that. Neuer's always been on top. He's always been in my eyes and many other people's eyes, the best goalkeeper in the world. Emi Martinez won the Golden Glove and the Yashin Trophy, but I was like, nah, that's probably just because they won the World Cup. There's been other goalkeepers that have performed better. But who's going to be that next wonder kid, that next world-class goalkeeper?
The next where everyone else is here, but this guy is.
And I'm still looking out for him because he's not there's not one that's really sticking out in my opinion yet.
Yeah. And what, in your opinion, what's your top 5 goalkeepers in the world at this exact moment?
So definitely Neuer still, just because he's back and he's doing well. There's Ederson, as you said, he's performed really well. Who else are we gonna say? I like Alisson as well. He's been doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Steady goalkeeper. His distribution is different as well. Then we've got 2 left. Who are we gonna pick? I like Jan Sommer as well. He's been doing great. He's been doing very well. And then we only have 1 left. Ooh, this is gonna be tough. I think, I'm not sure you're gonna agree with this, but I'm gonna go Gregor Kobel from Dortmund. I really like him. He's been performing well. He's had ups and downs, but all round steady goalkeeper.
Yeah.
What would your top 5 be?
My list, I was really close by Kobel or Oblak.
Oh yeah, Oblak, but I feel like he's kind of fallen off lately.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but still for me, I can't put him off just yet.
Okay.
So it was between Kobel and Oblak. But I put in Oblak.
Okay.
So my top 5 at the moment is Mike Magnard, the AC Milan goalkeeper, and then Vicario, that's playing for Tottenham.
Okay, yeah.
Ederson, Martinez, and Oblak.
Okay. See, I didn't put Martinez in there. I just don't like his style for some reason.
I see.
I don't know. And let me ask you this: top 5 all time.
Ooh, I was going to ask you the top 3 of all time.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So, who is it for you? You can go first.
I'm gonna say Lev Yashin, just because he is the GOAT. And then Edwin van der Sar has to be in there. And Buffon. Those are my... It's either
Yashin,
Buffon or Oliver Kahn, maybe. Yeah, I think Buffon.
Okay, yeah. For me, all time, it's Neuer, Buffon, and Schmeichel.
Schmeichel.
Peter
Peter
Schmeichel.
Schmeichel. No Yashin in there?
I don't have any relation to Yashin.
Neither do I. But looking back at the clips, and
Yeah.
he's the one who really put goalkeeping to. He was like the Neuer of that time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Of course, you heard about Liu Yashin, of course, but
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
difficult, man. I wanted to put
Yeah,
Neuer
it's
in there as
really-
well, but
this-
it's just Van der Sar has to be in there, just as a Dutch pride,
as the Dutch. Yeah, I see. So, like, what's the goals for the future? Where do you see like the Dutch goalkeeper being like in 3 to 5 years time?
Oh, that's a great question. Currently, I'm just enjoying creating content. So I feel like that's what I want to continue to do for the rest of my life, is creating content. Whether that's goalkeeper content, I'm not sure, because I know goalkeepers have an expiration date. So I'm 27 years old now. I'm sure I can do this for a good couple more years. But eventually I want to create other types of content. So the video I made with Ollie, I had so much fun doing that. And it's a goalkeeper football related video, but it's different. So that's definitely the main thing. And the other focus is, of course, going to be spending time with my son, making sure he gets the best possible chance to grow up well. And there's all sorts of plans we have. I'd love to do some goalkeeper training in the future as well. Maybe start a goalkeeper camp. Creating more Dutch content. But for the next couple of years, I'm just going to be creating more content.
You for sure have a couple of years left, because I'm turning 34 in March and I'm still doing it. So if you stay healthy and take care of your body, you can do this for a long time still.
100%. How old did Buffon get? He was like 40.
I think it was
42?
wasn't he like 45 when
45? I thought it was like 42. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah.
Buffon retirement age. 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you got at
Yeah,
least
man.
11 more years, Anders.
Yeah. I have one more career left.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Koen, let's wrap this up. You're doing so much good for the goalkeeper community. I'm really happy that I can bring you on and spread your word and spread your message, because I think it's very, very important. And yeah,
No, thank you, man. It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
perfect. Thank you, mate.
Sure, we'll have to schedule a session in Norway soon.
Come to Solbyen, Sun City, Sarpsborg, and then we will do some cool stuff together.
Right?
Okay, man.
Definitely.